Hello, let's get started together with a market vlog. I have a market tomorrow on Sunday, November 30th. Today is Saturday the 29th, so the weekend after Thanksgiving. It is my first indoor market of the year. It is at a boat marina inside their boathouse. It is a market that they have every year. They have one in November and then they have one in December. I'm obviously doing this one. It's my first time doing the market. I know where it is, but I've never been to this place before. It's about 25 minutes away from where I live, like 2 towns over. But hey, if you're new here, my name is Shannon. I own a small crochet business called Casing Crochet. I talk all things yarn, patterns, crochet, and of course markets, especially during this busy holiday season. This is my second to last market of the year. So I thought I would start off today to catch you up on some of the things that I've made. I shared a bunch in my last video, so go back and check that one out, including some new patterns. But I have a bunch of new patterns to share with you today, as well as a handful of not so new patterns, but that I enjoy making. So let's start off with some of my smaller makes that I have restocked. Let's see, I know I have another one of these. I'm not very organized. I have like a pile of plushies over here that I need to tag and price. All right, maybe I only made one of these. I thought I made 2, but anyways, I have a couple of these left from my last market, but these are silly birds from a free pattern from the Friendly Red Fox. His thing, a lot of people have been talking about this. When you look on screen, because it's flipped, his little rooster thing looks off center, but when you look at him in person, it doesn't. But these are so cute. I sit them at the top of one of my shelves so their legs dangle and people love them. So I made, I thought I made 2 of these. The other one somewhere. I priced these at $12. I also made, I know I made 2 of these. One thing I'm going to be doing today is tagging and pricing all of my new stuff. I don't know where the other one is. It might still be downstairs because I was working on it last night. But these are the garden gnomes from the Cozy Stitch. Her pattern gives them little bobble arms, but I don't feel like they're needed. I put a leather piece of twine here. I make it an ornament and I sell these for $8. I have a little Christmas tree from the dollar store that I put them on. I want to make one more for tomorrow, so I have enough on my little tree. But these have been pretty popular. I just started having them at my market at the end of October, and I've sold quite a bunch. I also made, and I plan to make one of these little baby gators. It's a free pattern on Instagram. Everything that I talk about will be linked below. If I miss something, leave a comment, but I try to link everything, especially the free patterns for you guys. But he's really cute. He's quick to make. I sell these for $10, so I want to make one more. I only had one at my last market. It was the first time I had him, and he sold really quickly. And then I restocked a favorite that I've had, which are these hatching ducks. This is a pattern by KB Crafts and Crochet, I think is her name. In her pattern, she does a little lip around the egg on the top and the bottom. I just don't do that. It's cute, but I don't think it's super necessary, but it is cute if you want to do it. And so I make these ducks. The other modification that I do is that she has you make the beak separate and crochet it in, but I just surface crochet a little beak on. So I made 3 of these guys, and then I made, okay, I know this guy is up here somewhere. Oh, here's my other gnome that I made. Where is he? Oh, look at this. I'm finding everything. This is the other silly bird that I made. I made him in the mallard style. And then what I was looking for is I used a free penguin pattern from Instagram and made a little penguin hatchling. So he's super cute. I thought he'd be good because it's winter time. So I made 3 ducks and 1 penguin. Let's see. I think those are all of the things that I haven't showed you yet. And then I am pattern testing for Loops to Loveys. She has a new like deer collection coming out, and I made her little baby fawn. She's very cute. I made her in pink. I have a fawn from Hobbs and Stitches on my table in like baby sand color, so I wanted to make something a little different. So she's adorable. She's really little, but I think I'm gonna price her at $20. So I made her and I just pattern tested her. All of Loops to Loveys patterns are no-sew. Well, maybe not all of them, but all the ones I've made are no-sew. So everything is crocheted in, which is super nice. She's adorable. And then I, of course, did some shopping yesterday for Black Friday and got some patterns. So I got the new Mini Cooper cow pattern from Neutral Knots. I need to put eyes on this guy. I literally just finished him, but this is Cooper cow. I've made the big cow a bunch of times. He's super cute. Everything is crocheted in, and then you surface crochet his tail. I made this guy in vintage white from Bernat Blanket and rust from Premier Basics Chenille. And then I just made this one this morning in some overalls. I added on a pocket and the straps, and then I did like a surface crochet around the legs to make a cuff. He obviously still needs his eyes and he still needs his tail, but these are so cute. I think I'm gonna price these at $24. I think I might do 24 and then 25 because this one was definitely a little more work and a little more material. And then I also got her new mini moose pattern. So I've made her Moose the Moose, the original size. This is the mini one. He is so cute. The only thing that you sew on are his antlers. And for both of these, she has such a cute style for the hooves. They're like so nice. Like you can see that they are like flat and they have this really nice rim around them. I love how it looks. They're really adorable. This guy I'm going to price at either $22 or $24. I think 24 because he has like the antlers. I have her mini junior bear, and those, when I don't have anything extra on them, are 22, but this guy is a little bit more with the antlers and stuff. So I made these guys after getting their patterns yesterday on Black Friday. They're relatively quick. Somebody asked me how long they took me, but I kind of worked on them as my kids gave me time because my kids are home for the holiday break. I would estimate like maybe an hour and a half-ish, something like that. It was also my first time making the mini version, so I think they'll go quicker in the future too. So those are all of the new things that I wanted to share with you. During nap time today, I'm going to work on tagging and inventory, which is kind of boring, so I won't take you along for that. So the next time you see me might just be for the market tomorrow. I will check in, I will show you my setup, and I will try to keep you as updated as possible. This is my first market in a while that's like just a straight craft show. Like it doesn't have another element like food trucks or at a venue where people would come to eat or drink otherwise or whatever. Like people are going to need to drive here and with the intention of attending a craft show. I think there's about 30 vendors. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it. It's supposed to rain like at the beginning of the craft show tomorrow, but it's inside. So hopefully it doesn't deter people too much. Anyways, I will check back in with you pretty soon. Okay, a quick little update. This guy got his eyes. I think he turned out so cute. And then I made 2 more Boo Boo Buddies. I made 2 little piggies. I have a couple in my inventory, so I think with these 2 I'll have enough to put them out on my table. Last market I didn't because I think I only had like 3 or 4, but now I think I'll have enough. I might make 1 more duck. I use a pattern from Brandon and Ray. I actually have their Forest Boo Boo Buddy pattern, but I've made so many that I can kind of figure out how to make other animals at this point. So I modified it to make a pig, but she has like a farm collection and stuff too. So I'm going to get my inventory out. I need to tag a bunch of things and update Square. And then My plan for the rest of my time I have to make today is maybe make one more duck boo boo buddy. I want to make one more gnome ornament, and then I think one more moose, and then I'm calling it good for this market prep, or for this market. And then I have a lot of custom orders I'll need to do after this before I prep for my final market of the holiday season. But I just thought I'd check in and share what I've been working on. These guys, oh, they have ice packs in the back and they come out, so it's pretty cool. Anyways, that's it for now. Okay, it is market day morning, just before 6 o'clock. If you're not new to my market vlogs, I pretty much always do my morning clip in my kitchen because it's always dark out and I am getting ready before my kids. So I'm ready. I got my shirt on. Normally, like for markets that are outdoors, I have a hat with my logo that I like to wear, but this is indoors, so I have my logo shirt on with a long sleeve shirt because it's cold out. It is very cold. We are supposed to, well, not very cold, but winter is here for sure. We're supposed to get a snowstorm on Tuesday. Today's Sunday. So I am trying to leave my house around 8:30 this morning. The market is about 20 minutes away. I forget if I shared this. It's from 11 to 4 today, right? Yeah, 11 to 4. I did not make the things I said I was going to try to make. I decided to pack yarn to make another moose, but last night or yesterday when I was doing my inventory, I realized that I took out my yellow Maisie duck that I use for my 10 Little Ducklings book buddy, the book by Eric Carle. I'll put a picture up here. I took it out to bring to a farm store that is doing like a holiday market. So I needed to make another one of those so I could have it as a book buddy. And I think this morning I am going to try to make one more because I took out some other Maisie ducks for that store and now I have like an odd number. Anyways, that's the plan for this morning. My mom is coming with me to my market today, so that will be fun. I am a little worried about how far I'm going to have to carry my stuff. I really need to get a wagon, but we have to bring all of our own tables and chairs, and I'm in like the main area of their boathouse. It looks like from the map there's like 2 areas, but I'm like furthest from the door and I don't know how close I'm going to be able to park. But we'll figure it out. I will check in with you again, show you my market setup. This is my first indoor market since my very, very, very first market this year, which was a flop. So I'm much more experienced now and hoping that my setup today looks good. It'll be nice practice because my next market is also indoors, except that one I have a much smaller space. So anyways, I'll check in with you guys as I go. Okay, we've got everything set up. This is my first time doing like an aisle set up like this, but I think it looks good and there's like enough room for one person to be looking at each table on either side. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so I thought I would take you around the venue a little bit. This is where people entered in. This was one of the main rooms. There was a room to the right as well. And this is the area that I was in. And here are some of the vendors still setting up. And then this is the other hallway with vendors. There's about like 34 vendors at the event. And turning back around into the main room. And then you can see where my booth was located right over here. Okay, there's a lot of music, so hopefully you can hear me, but it's 10:25, event doesn't start till 11, and I just made my first sale to my vendor neighbor. They bought my Mini Cooper cow in overalls and a hatching penguin, so a great start to the day. That was like a $41 purchase, so I was sitting here wondering what I should work on, and I guess I should make another hatching penguin because I only made one. So that's what I'm gonna start doing as we wait for the event to officially start. Okay, here's a look at the booth around 1:30. Our book buddies were selling well. I had to move a bunch around and take some new ones out. And our hatching animals were selling really well. I had to fix these two guys. They were being looked at by people. And then I had to take one of the crates down from this stack here. There was one on top. And soon after, I took one of these crates down too, and I brought out some older inventory. Our chicken coop things are looking pretty low here as well, and this is what it looked like. Okay, finally there's like not a super loud song on, so hopefully that doesn't change, but it's just about 2 o'clock. There's 2 hours left in the event. I have sold out of hatchers, and I made one while I was here. I'm getting close to being sold out of book buddies. I sold out of Maisie Ducks, Silly Birds from the Friendly Red Fox, and a bunch of other things. So it's been really good. Got 2 hours left. I'm working on a hatching dinosaur, and we'll probably make another hatching something after this too. Okay, so we have like 30 minutes left. It's just about 3:30. It's been pretty slow since the last time I checked in, which makes sense. This place that we're at is right next to a restaurant, so I feel like a lot of people came before brunch or after lunch, but it's been a great day, and we'll be packing up soon. And yeah, I'll do a full recap once I am back home. Okay, so today is Wednesday, December 3rd. So 3 days after the market. After I finished the market, I came home, made dinner, took care of the kids, all of that sort of good stuff. And then at 8 o'clock Eastern, I did a YouTube live stream with my friend Magda over at Rose and Dove. If you missed it, I'll link it in the description below. It was so much fun. We're planning to do another one in a couple weeks to kind of wrap up our experiences for the holiday market season. But it was a busy day Sunday between the market and that. And then yesterday we had a snow day. Anyways, I'm here now to give you guys the market recap. It was a really great day. Just as a reminder, this was a market. It was at a boathouse. And earlier I said there wasn't anything at this event other than a craft market, which was correct. But I did forget that as part of this marina, they have a restaurant, and on Sundays they have this brunch that's there that's really popular. So that definitely helped the crowd, because a lot of people, and you'll see this in my sales from like the busy times, came either before they went to brunch or right after. So that really helped with the traffic. And there were certainly also people that came just to come to the craft show, because the organizer did a fantastic job promoting it. So the event was from 11 to 4. We got there around 9:15 to set up. It was, like I said, it was in the boathouse. It was this like really big room. So loading in, they had like all the garage doors open where they normally load in the boats. It was really easy to load in, especially for me, because my spot was like right at the front near the garage. But it was really cold at first because all those doors were open and the heat was off until everybody was loaded in. And I did my setup. You guys saw that. It was different this time. I was told it was going to be a 10 by 10 space. My space mapped out to be a little bit smaller. The organizer came over and noticed that. She had me kind of scoot out a little bit. So I did an aisle setup, and I think it worked really well. I sat towards the back and I had my crochet stuff. People loved being able to come up and talk to me. And I feel like I was a little more approachable than being behind a table, because I was just like right there with everybody. And it also made it easy for me to get up and talk to customers and make recommendations. So that's something I need to think on for future events. My last event of the season is another indoor market and I get one table, so I won't be able to do it there. But anyways, let's see, anything else to share? Yeah. So let's get into the sales. So my first sale, as you saw in the clip, was even before the market opened. I sold my Mini Cooper cow by Neutral Knots in overalls, and I'll put pictures of everything up here and I'll share the patterns in the description below. This is a new pattern that I just got. I did the modification for the overalls myself. I just did the color changes. I chained for the straps, and then I did little single crochet around the bottoms of the legs to make a cuff. And I think he just turned out so cute. I'm definitely going to be making another one of those. So they bought the Mini Cooper cow for $26 and then a hatching penguin for $15. The hatching penguin, I used the egg pattern from KB Crafts and Crochet and then a free penguin pattern, which I'll link below. And I made another one while I was there, which I think also sold. So that was at 10:25, and it was and I'm looking up because I have my sales report on my computer screen. So that was a, let's see, $41 sale. So what a great way to start the day. And then the market opened at 11 and my sales started right at 11:12, like right at 11 people started coming in. And it really filled up and was quite busy up until 1:30, 1:45. And I'll talk a little bit about that as I get through this a little bit more. But my next thing to sell was my large Cooper cow by Neutral Knots. I think I have a picture of it, but it was with the white tweeds from Bernat Blanket and then the black tweed, and it was like a cookies and cream cow. This little boy was riding in like the bottom of the stroller that his like baby brother and sister was riding in the top, and the mom was showing him like all sorts of things, and she showed him the cow and he was like, I want it. And she's like, okay. So she turned around to give it to me to pay, and he lost it, which of course, as a mom of two toddlers, I totally understand. And I was like, let me just cut off the tag real quick and give it to you. And she gave it to him and he just like grabbed it. And that always just makes you so happy to see how much the kid loves what they got. So that was a $30 sale. Oh, and she also bought my mini moose from Neutral Knots, which is a new pattern from her. I only had the chance to make one. And actually following the event, somebody ordered another one, which I will get into when I get to their purchase, which is very soon. So she bought that for $25. So that was a $55 sale altogether. And then my next sale was one of my hanging plants. That is a free pattern. And this one was in a rust pot, and it was like the, I can't remember the name of the leaves. But anyways, I have a picture. I'll put it up here. And then she also bought my mini junior bear from Neutral Knots. That was a pattern that I tested. He was in baby sand. Very cute. I think she was giving it to a friend that just had a baby or had like a grandchild or something. So that was a $47 purchase. Next, the person bought a hatching duck from KB Crafts and Crochet. I brought 3 hatching ducks. I made 1 duck and 1 penguin while I was there. And I think one of those sold. Anyways, they're one of my best sellers always. So they bought a hatching duck and a yellow Maisie duck. So that was a $30 purchase. I've been making my Maisie ducks in demi pearl. Tori from Cross My Heart Stitching, she shared with me how she does that, and it makes them so plush and just like a little bit bigger. So I sold the hatching ducks for $15 and the Maisie duck for $15. So that was a $30 sale. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sales over 1 hour, which is fantastic. So then the next sale was about 20 minutes later, and the woman was meeting her grandson and daughter for brunch, and she wanted to get him something, and she couldn't decide if she wanted to have him come pick or pick it out herself. And I was like, listen, this is like all I have. Like normally I have back stock, but I don't have any. So She ended up getting my Give a Mouse a Cookie book buddy, which is made with Mischief Mouse from CC Handmade Hugs, for $30. Now that same woman, she came back, she made another purchase, which I'll share later, but then she messaged me after the event and she ordered the Give a Moose a Muffin book buddy with the mini moose from Neutral Knot as well. And then she also ordered a duck and a goose to go along with her grandson's other favorite books. And that is one of 2 custom orders that came from this event. My next sale was an orange cat that I made for a pattern test for CC Handmade Hugs for her Halloween babies. For the pattern test, it had a witch hat on, but I just took the hat off because it was removable. I made it in the orange mystical and that sold for $28. Then I had a group come into my booth and they were obsessed with the book buddies. So each person in that group bought a book buddy. So I sold my Guess How Much I Love You book buddy, which was made with Neutral Knots Belle Bunny with the stand-up ears. And I sold that for $32. Then I sold my Very Hungry Caterpillar book buddy, which uses the All From Jade Camille Caterpillar pattern for $25. I thought I made 2 Very Hungry Caterpillars and I thought I brought both of the books with me and I only had one. So I was kind of annoyed I couldn't restock that, but whatever. And then I sold the Giraffes Can't Dance book buddy, which I made with Gretchen Giraffe from Hobbs and Stitches for $38. So 3 back-to-back book buddies. Next purchase also included a book buddy. I sold her my unstuffed Miles monkey from Neutral Knots that I made in baby sand. I loved him. He was so soft. She told me that her son is just obsessed with crochet stuffed animals. So she bought that for him for $35. And then she brought her daughter, she had twins. She brought her If You Give a Pig a Pancake book buddy, which I made with Puddles the pig from CC Handmade Hugs for $30. So that was a $65 purchase. The next purchase was also 2 book buddies. She bought the I Love You Like No Otter book buddy with Read the Otter from Loops to Lovies for $32. And then the How to Catch a Unicorn book buddy with, what's the name? Astrid the Unicorn from Moon Sprouts, and I give it like a rainbow mane. So she bought that for $30, so it was a $62 purchase. This woman reached out to me after the event as well, realized she needed one more book buddy gift, and she ordered the Angelina Ballerina book buddy, which is with the Oak and Marlowe Brie Mouse in like the pink tutu. So I have to make that as well. And then her friend bought the new turtle pattern, the new turtle from BK Crochet's pattern. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Magda corrected me on the live because I can never remember it, but it's Hygge. Anyway, she bought that one for $18. Then my next purchase was a sneaky purchase. This woman was in her booth with her aunt, who was much older and so funny and so sweet. And she was trying to pick out some gifts. Well, I think they were mostly for her. She's like, they're going to be for me for now, but maybe I'll give them as gifts for later. So it's funny. And she was looking at my Silly Bird chickens, and her niece like signaled to me, like, I want to buy this chicken. She showed her money. So I got her one of my small brown paper bags. I usually use clear bags because they really help with people seeing your product at the event, but I always have brown paper ones in case people want to do a sneaky purchase. So I gave that to her. She put the chicken in, she gave me the money and stuffed it in her pocket. And then so that was one of the Silly Birds for $12. And then that woman, she was going around my booth and she went back to them, and you could tell her niece was trying to talk her out of it. And I was like, oh, do you really love chickens? She told me this story about how she rescued some chickens and from a wildlife rescue or something. So I had some $5 chickens that I didn't put out. So I pulled them out and I said, you can pick one of these chickens and have it. And she was like flabbergasted. Like, she was like, oh my God, no way. Like, no, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, you love chickens. You should have one of these. So she picked one of those out. And then she also bought one of the hatching ducks from KB Crafts and Crochet, and then a yellow Maisie duck. So she made a $30 purchase. Then let's see. So we're getting to about 1:15 here. The next thing that sold was my lion plushie. This is from the Mama Made Minis lion that I made with the plushie ebook extension. I've had it for a while and it hasn't sold, which surprised me, but I sold that for $28. Their daughter was pregnant with their first grandchild and they didn't know the gender, so they felt that was very gender neutral, and I agreed. So they were really excited for that. The next sale was my 10 Little Ducklings book buddy that I pair with a Maisie Duck. This was like my across the aisle booth neighbor. The woman came over and FaceTimed her 2-year-old before the event and showed him all the ducks I have. She said he was obsessed with ducks. She came over and this was at 118 and she's like, I have to buy this. I keep seeing people look at it and I know my son's gonna love it. So she got that for him for $24. Then the woman that bought the Give a Mouse a Cookie book buddy, she came back with her grandson and he really liked the hatching ducks. So she bought one of those and she said she was going to keep it as an Easter present. So that was $15. Then somebody bought my Dutton Deer Fawn Snuggler from Hobbs and Stitches for $28. Yeah. Then the next person bought a Silly Bird for $12. Then I sold my gray Bitty Kitty and then the other hatching penguin that I made while I was there. So the Bitty Kitty was $22 and the hatching penguin was $15. So that was a $37 purchase. And it's still pretty busy. Looking at the timestamps here, it is like 1:40. Let's see, Bitty Kitty. Then I sold one white Maisie Duck to somebody for $15. And then the next person bought one of my tan Maisie Ducks for $15. I sold another Silly Bird for $12. This was the Mallard one. And I think she also bought the Maisie Duck. Yeah, so she bought a Maisie Duck and the Mallard Silly Bird as gifts for her niece and nephew. And then somebody bought the Saturday Night at the Dinosaur Stomp book buddy, which I used one of Moonsprout's dinosaurs for, the Stegosaurus, I think it is. I've had that book buddy for a while and I've tried to sell a lot of people on it. It is one of my kids' favorite books. If you have toddlers, Saturday Night at the Dinosaur Stomp is such a good book. They love it. The same author has The Bugliest Bug. They're just fantastic rhyming books. They have really vibrant, pretty pictures. And the mom said that her toddler, who looked to be like 1.5, loves dinosaurs, so she got it for him. And then she also got my mini Gentry giraffe in almond. So now I'm all out of Gentry giraffes, so I need to make more of those. And then I started putting out like the small amount of backstock I had. I put out like a ghost and a seahorse and stuff like that. So the next purchase was for a seahorse from Moonsprouts pattern that I hadn't put out just because I feel like it's a summer item, but it sold. It was really pretty. It's this like bright pink color. And then after this, things really started to slow down. I sold to that same person for the seahorse. Sorry, I forgot. She also bought a Silly Bird and a Maisie Duck. So the seahorse was $25, Silly Bird was $12, and Maisie Duck was $15. So what is that? $27, like $52 purchase. And then I had one more sale at $2.17. It was the Will You Be My Friend book buddy, the Eric Carle book, and I made the Mischief Mouse for that. She said, you have me at Eric Carle. My kid has so many toys, and I love that this is like a book with a plushie that we can read together. So she bought that for $28. And then from that point on, I made no more sales from $2.17 until 4 o'clock. It was so dead, which makes sense because people go for brunch and most people are done with brunch by that time. But my last sale of the day was to my mom, who was with me. She bought my shelf gnome, my Hanukkah shelf gnome, for $40. She has been eyeing it since she has been helping me with markets every time she comes to visit this fall. So she bought that. and I love her for it. I know that she's gonna really enjoy it. So it was kind of a bummer that like the last part of the event was so dead. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. It was a fantastic event. I just sat there and I crocheted more. I made another hatching dinosaur, you know, hung out with my mom. No big deal. Bought some cookies. So let's go over the numbers for the day. So one thing that was interesting about this event is my last two markets, card and cash / Venmo, I kind of grouped those together since I don't have like a fee for that like I do for card on Square, were split. This one, I had so much more on card than I did for anything else. And I think this showed that the crowd came from brunch. Like they weren't like a craft show attending crowd. So like they didn't necessarily bring cash like you maybe would to a craft show, knowing that that's like the preferred-ish type of payment. But anyways, I made 26 transactions, which is also like half the amount of transactions that I have been making at my previous markets. And the amount of sales for this one was slightly more than my last one, and I had more transactions on my last one. So 26 transactions, and I made $876, which is incredible. This is my third really successful market, so I am so grateful. It came out to $513 in card, and now I have notes written over here, $112 in cash, and $251 in Venmo. So from that $876, there was $15.29 in Square fees, which brought the total to $860.71. And then this event had a $50 booth fee. So my grand total is $810.71. For a 5-hour market, I couldn't be more thrilled. I like to get $100 an hour for a market. I was kind of hoping to get slightly more than that for this one because it had, for my area, a higher booth fee. So I was gonna be happy with I was gonna be thrilled with 500, but I was like 550, 600 would be a nice stretch goal. 810 is incredible. My booth was throughout the day looking less and less full. I had to take like crates down from the stack because I didn't have enough stuff to fill it with. I moved my book buddies on the shelf up. And I have a lot of work to do before my next market, which is on December 14th. But this week I have been working through a bunch of custom orders I had put off to prepare for this event. So it's custom orders this week, and then next week is going to be my market prep, and I'll have a week to kind of get stuff ready. That's a 6-foot table, so it is going to be smaller. So I feel a little bit better about how it's going to fill out. Let's see, what else can I share with you guys? I think that's it. Oh, my best sellers. I sold 5 out of 5 of the hatchers that I brought. I made 3 more, sold 4 out of 4 of the hatchers I brought. I made 3 more while I was there and sold 1. So I sold 5 and had 2 extra. So I consider that a sellout because I had made some while I was there. I sold 4 out of 4 silly birds. I sold 5 out of 5 Maisie ducks plus the one that was with the book buddy. And I sold 9 out of 12 book buddies. So those were my best sellers. And then I sold a lot of my mini makes from Neutral Knots new patterns, as well as just a lot of her patterns. I make a lot of her stuff, so it is like a decent portion of my inventory, but it's, I don't know, maybe it's like 1/8 of my inventory. So people are definitely drawn to those makes. I think they're just such a classic, beautiful style. So her patterns were also really popular. Yeah, so I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this market recap. If you have any questions about anything that I sold or my setup or anything like that, please leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. And let's see, I like to give you an emoji to put in the bottom if you made it this far. So why don't we put, I did a duck recently. So like, that's why I'm trying to think about another emoji of a bestseller for you guys to put. Why don't we put a moose? Because I sold the one moose I had and I got a custom order for one. So put a moose emoji, plus it's a really cute emoji, in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe. You can hit the little bell notification if you want to be notified when I have new videos. And I hope to see you guys again here soon. Bye.